We're excited about what I'm going to call White 2.0. It's all about people, products, and our future. So a lot of what we're going to talk about today is built on a long legacy of reliability, and we're going to continue building on that legacy. So today we're here to talk about StorBOT 2.0. If you look to the video to my left, on there you will see StorBOT 1.0, which is a single column. It's a single column inserter extractor that we use on a horizontal carousel. StorBOT 2.0 introduces the ability of another axis and allows us to actually service up to 36 carousels stacked triple high. So it gives us not only the ability to scale both in pick rate, but it also gives us the ability to scale in density. So if you have a lot of items in your warehouse that have low turns, that don't get bought a lot or don't get used, we can store that into deep storage, and this new system allows you to keep a very high SKU count within your facility. Also within our booth, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the other solutions that we offer. We make a traditional carousel, vertical carousels, which can be seen to my right. So those are used in many applications, from assembly to manufacturing to pharmacy automation. The one that's on display today is a dual opening clean room machine. So we're passing goods for kitting through a machine into a clean room where keeping things antiseptic is important. Behind me you also see the Silo 2. Which is a VLM that can come in many different configurations. This machine is great in manufacturing facilities, in areas where you want to store parts, things like that. This machine can have multiple openings at multiple levels. So within here is an elevator that stores the trays either dynamically or in a fixed position. The trays can go in and store within the machine. Can also service operators at multiple levels. So if there's somebody working on another mezzanine at a different level, this machine can be replenished from a lower level, and then at the higher level somebody can be pulling parts. So think of an aircraft assembly plant where there's somebody working on a wing. Parts can be delivered straight up to that person working, and they never slow down. So it just keeps that workflow going. Also, we have the traditional horizontal carousels, which are new offering today, the StorBOT 2.0. Our traditional horizontal carousels, I like to say, there's a lot of competition out there that has put a lot of complexity around a horizontal carousel, and a horizontal carousel is still very effective in the market, and we're trying to bring awareness back to that you can still get higher pick rates from a traditional old standard carousel, and then adopting StorBOT 2.0 on the front end of that solution. Now you can eliminate the operators, which in today's market, labor is tight. It's hard to find people, so having those inserter extractors on that much density of carousel really allows you to eliminate labor and get the pick rates that you need to get from those old horizontal machines. So on those horizontals, there is that stigmatism that our technology is old. It's old, but it's proven, and we're going to continue to build on that legacy because we feel there's a strong play still in the market for these products, especially in the middle tier markets. There's still a lot of the middle tier that this product, from a price point and a usability, really plays well. So I would say white is, we're really focused on that middle tier, not only from our hardware offerings, but our software and solution offerings. So just behind me in the booth, directly behind this machine, is our Minerva software, which we acquired about 9 months ago. Minerva is very good in the WMS, WCS space. And they also they bring a lot to manufacturing. So we're kind of revolutionizing our solution offering rather than just being a hardware company. So, today I'm kind of introducing us as White 2.0 because we really want to be seen as a solution provider and not just a hardware provider. Yes, we have hardware, and it's some of the best in the industry, but we want to be known for our solutions that we can bring. So we're really excited because there's a lot of new opportunities in the market in different segments. So going back just a short 10 years ago, it looked like carousels, both vertical and horizontal, were dying in the marketplace. And there's now many, many new uses for carousels. So one of the biggest uses that we're seeing is in-store pickup, where people order stuff online, people will put the stuff in the machine, and we can either automatically dispense that by a user walking up with an iPhone, scanning a barcode, and it delivers their order to the window, or have it just in the back room, and we can deliver groceries or whatever to a user that pulls up out in front of the store. So a lot of new things that this application looked like going back a few years ago was a dying, was for spare parts and things like that. There's now a resurgence, and we're seeing, even some of the large e-com, players out there are interested in urban distribution. So you might see one of these. This machine behind me can actually sit outside. You could fill it and have people pick up, automated deliveries, from some of your favorite online providers. So lots of good things. I would like to ask if there's any questions out there, anything that comes to mind from what we've talked about.
Do you have do you have carousels that are already being used outside for e-commerce pickup?
We don't have any that are being used outside for e-com. We are in the development phase with some customers for that. We do have carousels, many carousels that are used outside that we will mount to the outside of a building, like in a manufacturing facility when they're out of space. We can actually cut the window into the wall and put the machine outside, so it gives them more footprint without stealing the space from inside their current facility. Yeah. So, but we do have customers that are using our machines for online pickup, just not outside yet. Yeah, they're in store. Yep, absolutely.
Are most people using them as customers picking up or in the back room?
Right now, what we have seen is most of them are, there's an operator will go get the materials, the product for the customer. So we're working through, some new designs with safety and also the integration, to pull in their order numbers and stuff automatically. But it's all ready to go. We're ready to introduce that to the market. So. Any other questions?
I was just thinking, once you, from a footprint standpoint, manufacturer backing up, tractor trailer, offloading, parts, container,
yep,
boxes.
Yeah, so similar. We don't typically load from a semi directly into VLM. Where we see a lot of use on the VLMs these days is where there's so many unique part numbers. Whether it's we'll talk about an Apple Watch, right? The Apple Watch is the same, but people want to buy it in 45 different varieties. I want this color wristband and this color housing around the watch. So a lot of that is very, very different. So what we see is just a very high SKU count, and operators are having trouble dealing with, they're used to big box. Like I have a pallet space where I store, 40 boxes of the same thing. Well, those days are kind of over, right? And we're going to more unique products because, the consumer wants uniqueness in what they buy, right? So, yeah. I don't know if that answered your question or not.
You can customize based on what the customer's looking for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Scale it.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, so a lot of these machines, the standard machine comes with one window, like this silo product, for instance. We add a second window to basically pick up, your pick rate. So while the operator's working in this bin, the next delivery can be, can show up over here. So while they're working here, they complete this, and they're ready to walk over and actually pick the items from this bin. When they're done here, there's another tote present for their next action. So we're also seeing some pickups from customers who want to use this in a return application. So they'll put this in a store, and a customer can do an automated return without having to engage customer service in that return process. So they can walk in, scan a barcode, pull up their receipt, see that it's a true return, put it into the machine, and then somebody on the backside would have to process that work. So the omni-channel distribution, I know that word's getting a little dated in the market, but if somebody online orders that same thing that just returns, their systems can now know that there's one sitting at the store 2 miles down the road, and they don't have to deliver. They can say, you can go pick it up from the local machine and service that customer much faster, right? We're all about delivery speed. Everybody wants something in 2 hours or 4 hours. They want it now. They don't want to wait 2 days. They want it now. So.
Corey, I have a very basic question.
Sure.
You said that StorBOT 2.0 adds in another access, so
yes.
Is it going across?
It is going across.
So how does that work?
So as you watch, the video will come up here, but basically our original StorBOT design, StorBOT 1.0, was a single column, and we would triple stack a horizontal carousel. So, it would give you 90 bins, and then you stack 2 more on top, and it gets you to 270 bins, which then can be subdivided. And that single column StorBOT 1.0 would service just that column. Well, what this does now is allows us to put 12 wide, 3 high, and that StorBOT can go in that X, Y, Z axis now and access, again, from all those horizontal carousels. So it also, if you need higher pick rate, you could put a StorBOT that's just servicing 9 and do another StorBOT that's doing the next 9. So it really allows you flexibility to get the pick rate that you need or the density that you need. That's the key part of this, is it's configurable to every customer's need. If you need a high pick rate, you can put a single column StorBOT, our traditional StorBOT, on one single axis, and put those on every pod, down through the carousel bank. So it's really, what is your current needs, and where do you see your growth, and then that will drive, how you design that system. And the great thing is we can always come back and change the configuration. If you put 36 carousels in with one StorBOT servicing it, and then your pick rate increases because your order volume increases, we can split it and just put a second StorBOT servicing, the last 18 and one on the first 18. So it's very flexible in that regard.
Is there like a retrofit like a changeover like that?
A changeover like that would be fairly easy because the mask is already in place. The mast is already there. We're just dividing the control system into 2, duplicating it, and configuring the X and Y axis. So fairly quickly. Yep. Any other questions? You guys are the spotlight today. You get to ask all the questions.
Do you have any customers yet for the StorBOT 2.0? Any?
We have active quotes out for the 2.0. We don't have any installed. So the final design is being built as we speak, and then we have several quotes. That fit that market space that we talked about, where they have a high SKU count and they want to eliminate operators. Everybody's talking about operators. They can't find people to run this equipment. And that was the other point, that I think it's worth making, is a lot of the technologies that go up against what we're doing with StorBOT 2.0 are very complex. When you add complexity, it inherently adds the ability, you now need to train people how to fix it, how it operates. So our approach is to be as minimal as possible, because turnover, you might have somebody for 2 months, and they're moving on to another job, and you don't want to have to go through a month of training for somebody that's going to stay for 3 months. Or if you have, peak cycles where you're bringing in a flood of people to operate this equipment for, the holiday season or whatever, you don't want to have intensive training that's required before they can operate that equipment. So we're trying to get to that minimal approach where the totes will actually be delivered out to the operator and you don't have to worry about the complexity of the machine itself.
So it's a goods to person system?
Absolutely, yeah. Yep.
But at a much less complex level.
Correct. Yeah, if you look at a lot of the stuff that's in the market, it's very complex. And we've heard from customers that complexity adds, operational dollars, because now the maintenance staffs have to be able to they got to know how it works. They've got to be able to maintain it. There's got to be somebody on call 24/7 that knows how it works. Where good old-fashioned horizontal carousel, it's basically, riding on a rail, the thing's spinning, and that extractor, is the easy part of the solution. So for us, it's simple, goods to operator, that is a great value point. It's a great entry point from a value standpoint. So, yeah, that's right, a workhorse. And that's what I said earlier. White's built, our legacy's built on that reliability and that, just that readiness where if you talk in the market to anyone, the White name is synonymous with reliability. We hear it day in and day out. I buy White because I know it's going to run every day.
While we're talking about brands, can you touch a little bit on the relationship between Sencorp and White?
Yeah, so Sencorp acquired White about 2.5 years ago. Sencorp has traditionally been known for thermal forming. So the thermal forming business is if you've ever gone to a local deli and you get something in a clamshell, or those packages that you scream at when you get a new toothbrush and you can't rip open that plastic on top of it. Sencorp makes the machines that make those molds, that molds those that plastic. So we also have a thermal sealing business. If you've ever been to the dentist and you rip open a bag and they have all the utensils in there that they're going to use and they're antiseptic and clean, we make the machines that seal those pouches and
Interesting. That's not two industries you would put together, like carousels
so
and
we'll talk a little
thermal.
a little more about that. So Brian Urban, who is our CEO, is just behind me here. They had manufacturing capacity, and they were looking for something else to build in Hyannis. So all of our products are built in Hyannis, Massachusetts, out on Cape Cod. They had capacity, so they went to the market to see what they could find. White popped up as a great acquisition to add in, and the rest is history. Now, what's neat about the pieces that are in it, like you said, thermal formers are not really a material handling equipment, right? But we are now seeing markets opening up where we're going to be able to use all three of our technologies. Perfect instance, medical marijuana. We'll form a tray. I know I'm going to say some things here. They'll put leaves or buds into the trays. We'll seal those trays, and then we'll store those trays and manage that inventory in some of our machines. So we have a natural fit across the industry, like for medical marijuana and recreational marijuana, with the products that we're bringing to market. So it's really interesting. When you first look at it, it doesn't look like there's a play where they play together. But we also go into the medical device market. So think about pacemakers and things that will be inserted into the body. They all now have to be in hermetically sealed trays. They have to be sealed. They have to have RFID technology that's managing it through the supply chain. So in 2020, there's a regulation that comes out where anything that goes into the body has to be tracked from manufacturer all the way through when it's inserted into the patient. So there has to be a record of everywhere it sat, what the humidity was, what the temperature was. So all this stuff has to be tracked in tags that go along with it. So we have a natural fit in the medical and pharmacy all the way through on that tray to sealing to storage. And then also you throw our software piece that can manage all that, have some cloud-based applications that manage all those moves in the supply chain, and you have a great solution from tip to tail. That's Minerva Intech, yeah, who's part of our software suite.
And
Yeah.
was that a recent acquisition?
About 9 months ago. Yeah.